Hello there, Orla here, and welcome to another Orla B Masterclass. In this training, we are going to look at how you can build your 2020 success roadmap. And what that is, it's a step-by-step plan that you are going to follow to set inspiring goals that you really want to achieve, but also bridge the gap between those goals and where you are now to develop an execution system so that you will achieve those goals. My name is Orla. I am a coach, business strategist, and Starbucks lover, and I'm here to help you in this training. So, by the end, you will have a clear roadmap to follow so that you wake up every day knowing exactly what you should focus on that day to achieve your dreams. No more overwhelm. This is all about taking consistent action. Because we know there's nothing fucking worse, is there? You wake up, you finally get 5 minutes to yourself, the kids are at school, the house is empty, and it's like now is your work time, and your brain turns to mush. It's like tumbleweed rolling across your forehead. You know you've got these big dreams, you know you should be doing something, but you're not quite sure what to do. Overwhelm steps in, and you end up scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through Instagram, and quite possibly you wind up on your competitor's profile, thus enhancing the overwhelm. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. This training will ensure that that does not happen, as you know exactly what you should be focusing on. So, what is the course content? So first of all, we're going to look at common goal setting pitfalls you must avoid. Those horrible things you are told to do that make absolutely no fucking sense when it comes to setting goals. We're going to look at what you really should set, how to set a life manifesto, how to stake your claim to your life. What it is that you want to achieve, how it is that you really, really want to live. Create a life manifesto and get inspired. Then we're going to cover the science behind it and the key to effective goal setting before we dive right in there to creating your 2020 roadmap. And then we're going to finish by looking at overcoming overwhelm and ensuring that you remain consistent. Okay, my friends, let's help you dodge the bullet here. What are the common pitfalls you must avoid when it comes to goal setting? And I want to cover these because we kind of need to blow some myths here. You have been told that you need to do certain things when it comes to setting goals, and it's not true. And the first thing is that SMART goals are fucking shit. Sorry, I said it. I had to say it. They have their place, SMART goals, those goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic for you, and time-based. But they're not what you should start with. They're not the starting point when it comes to setting goals. You can use them when it comes to implementing the gorgeous, amazing big goals that you set. But let's not limit yourself straight away with something that's realistic for you or attainable, because the second problem that people have is that they think too small. They create their goals based on the now. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. You should set goals that stretch you, goals that will drive you forward and encourage you to be the best that you can be and make something really special of 2020. Big goals. I want you to act like anything is possible. You've clicked your fingers, we're 1 year down the line and you have achieved absolutely everything. That's what we're looking to do. And what happens though when you're not able to think big? What happens when you go to goal setting workshops, you go to goal setting classes, and they ask you to visualize your life 5 years from now, and you can't? And that, my friend, is a common problem. So many people have been beaten down by life, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Excuse me. So many people have got so much shit going on in their day-to-day life that they're not quite sure how to think big. The kids are running around, it's a wee bit stressful, and you're asked to dream big. We want to help you avoid that by looking at alternative ways to goal set that will work for you. And the other common pitfall is that people make singular goals. They make goals that leave you after you've achieved them going, what next? What next? What next? And actually, they're not goals, they're a fucking checklist. They're a checklist. Drop £5, get out more, get new customers. All of these things that don't actually lead you anywhere. We want you to create goals that go somewhere. We want you to create goals that are part of your bigger vision, so that when you achieve new customers, what does that mean for your income? What does that mean for your home life? As your home life improves, what does that mean for your health? We want to create goals that fucking go somewhere, that genuinely make your life better. Now, if you recognize yourself in any of these pitfalls, that's absolutely great. I repeat, do not beat yourself up about it, because right now we're going to look at how best to set goals. And the first thing I want to start with is an amazing quote from Brendan Burchard. I absolutely adore this man and everything that he is doing. I enjoy being part of his coaching programs because they're absolutely outstanding. And his quote is, "Never limit the vision you have for your future based on your current circumstances, competencies, or capabilities." And that's what so many of us do. So many of us say, well, this is where I am now, I cannot possibly get there. And it holds you back. It holds you back because you think about goals based on what you can currently do. But what you want to do is you want to set goals based on what is possible for you. What is possible when you learn the skills? What is possible when you become consistent every day? What is possible when you meet the right people? What is possible when you invest in the right areas? What is possible when you make goals based on your future self? Because it is your future self that is going to achieve these goals. So don't worry necessarily about the how. Think about the why. Think about the why, what you want to achieve, and then we can worry about the how later on. And in that, we're going to create a life manifesto. And you're probably thinking, what is a life manifesto? And is this just a fancy pants term for goals? Well, it kind of is. It kind of is, because it's a public declaration of what you want to achieve in your life. It's not just a list of potential goals. It's about how you want to live. It's about you building a life that leaves a legacy. It's about who you really are. If you don't write this out, if you don't write out your life manifesto, who will? Who's going to decide? That's when you live your life by chance and not by choice. And I know that's a stereotypical comment, and I know that's a massive cliche to come from a coach, but it's so fucking true. It is so true. You need a life manifesto. And why do you need one? You have to start thinking big, and not become obsessed with living small and what doesn't really matter. You have to focus on the big vision, the things that are going to make a difference, the life that you really want to live. You need a life manifesto because SMART goals have become ingrained in your mind, because people have talked about SMART goals for so long, forgetting that they're better for implementation. And also, more importantly, your life manifesto, when you write out that public declaration about how you want to live your life, that vision acts like a compass to guide you. And then you create this through effective goal setting. So what you do is you write out your life manifesto, that public declaration of how you want to live your life, and then we achieve that through effective goal setting. Now, you're probably wondering, how the fuck do you create your life manifesto? Well, essentially, there's two ways to do this. And this is really important, because whether you choose option number one, where you set a big goal and you work your way back, or whether you choose option number two, that you set a life assessment goals, really depends on you and what works best for you during the goal setting process. Because not everyone is able to think of this big vision and work their way back. That doesn't work for everyone. For some of us, it works better to look at our life, look at the key areas, and to maximize the pleasure in all of those areas and to write that out and to get a vision for that, as opposed to sitting there and to transplant yourself to 5 years in the future. So I'm going to talk you through these, and you're going to decide whether option 1 or option 2 works better for you. So whether you're going to set a goal and work your way back, so you're going to set huge goals, and you're going to talk through, 5 years from now, you're sitting down, where are you living? What's your house like? What's an average day like? What's your morning like? When you get up. We're going to talk you through all of those things if that's what works best for you. If that doesn't work for you and you think, oh, I can't quite get my head around that, Orla, I want you to sit back and I want you to consider, okay, I want you to carry out a life assessment identifying how you want to live, how you want to be, how you want to feel in the key areas of your life, and then we're going to set goals to achieve them. And that works better for some people. So let's dive right in, and you're going to choose through your workbook what works better for you. So first is your matrix manifesto. And it's like the matrix because we're going to act like there is a plug-in and it goes straight into your body. And when you're setting these goals, you're setting it knowing that anything is possible. I don't want you to limit yourself here when you're creating this big vision and working your way back. Do not limit yourself. So I want you to think it's 5 years from now. And in the last 5 years, everything right has gone your way. Everything you've wanted has happened. You've learned everything you've needed to learn. You've had the most amazing support. You've taken consistent action. You've invested in the right areas. You've networked with the right people. You've gone to the right courses. How does this look in your life in your key areas? And I want you to sit there and I want you to think, okay, where are you waking up in 5 years from now? Where do you live? What kind of house do you live in? What's your house like? Is it a 5-bedroom mansion by the seaside? Is it a city centre apartment? Is it a house in the suburbs? Where do you live? And in that home, what are your relationships like? What are your relationships like with your significant other? What are your relationships like with your children, with your neighbours, with the families around you, with your friends, with your own family? Write out what your relationships are like. And what kind of business are you running that allows you to have this beautiful home, that allows you the free time to have these amazing relationships? Do you work for yourself still? Have you formed a limited company? Are you a partnership? What's your business like? What industry are you number one in? How does it feel to be the best in your industry 5 years from now? How does it feel to be the go-to person that people go to because you're so fucking amazing? And with this incredible business you've created 5 years in the future, what kind of money has it given you? What kind of income are you earning? Remember, when you're writing out income, always write a minimum of. How much money do you comfortably earn? How is your money mindset? What's your relationship like with money 5 years from now? And then I want to look at, with all of these amazing things happen in your life, and how does that impact your spirituality? How do you feel about yourself, about your place on this planet, about the contribution that you are creating? How are you making a difference in the world? How are you so super special 5 years from now? And then I want you to look at your health. How do you feel? How do you feel when you wake up every morning? Are you bursting with energy? Are you itching to get out the door because you feel so fantastic? How incredible do you feel? What is your health like? So write this out in your workbook. And my suggestion when you're creating this manifesto and you're creating this big vision and working your way back is that you go somewhere luxurious. Don't do this in a stressful situation. Don't do this on your couch in the sitting room when your house is a mess. Do this somewhere you feel special. Perhaps you want to go to a beautiful hotel, go to the restaurant, order yourself a glass of Prosecco, and just feel today special so that you can then feel more amazing as you're writing your big vision goal. Because we're going to use this and we're going to work our way back. And we're going to work our way back. Now, if this type of goal setting does not work for you, and that's absolutely okay, we're going to help you conduct a life assessment. Now, anyone who has ever worked with a life coach before is familiar with this little wheel I have there, and it's the wheel of life. And what this enables you to do is to create a life assessment about the key areas in your life. Your family, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your business. And I want you to, in your workbook, I want you to draw out a wheel, and I want you to say, okay, what is 10 out of 10 in a family for me? In my family life, if it was operating at 10 out of 10, what would my relationship be like with my other half? If you have one, what would your relationship be like with your children? What would your relationship be like with your mum, your dad, all of these people in your family? And write out what it looks like to you. Write out what you do in your quality time together, how you enjoy being with them, what you do, where you take them, where you go on holidays, what you do for Christmas, what you do for New Year. What is 10 out of 10 for you? And let's just focus on the 10 out of 10 now. And then I want you to do that for your health. What does 10 out of 10 health look like for you? What dress size are you wearing? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? How much abundance of energy do you have? How much care do you take of your body? Do you take of your mind? How is your health when it's 10 out of 10 for you? Do the same for your wealth. How much money, the minimum that you earn on a consistent basis? How wealthy you feel in everything around you. And then looking at a 10 out of 10 for your relationships. So really, what we want you to do is list all of the key areas in your life and write out in as much detail as you possibly can what 10 out of 10 looks like for you, because that is your compass. That is your life manifesto. That is what's driving you forward. So again, you are going to create your life manifesto in one of two ways. You're either going to create your big vision goal and work your way back, or you're going to do this life assessment and you're going to write out, okay, what is 10 out of 10? Because we can use both of these as a benchmark when we are getting down and dirty and creating your roadmap to build a super successful and fantastic 2020. So this is just a brief recap of how you create that life assessment. You create a life assessment in all areas of your life. You then get those metrics out there and you decide what a 10 looks like in all of these areas and you write it out. And then you set an intention and you live each day that you will grow your life and become the best version of you that you can possibly be, because that is so essential. And it's so important that you grow your own way. Now, I bet you couldn't read this without singing that Fleetwood Mac song in your head. But it's so important that you goal set how works best for you. No one can tell you the right way to create your life manifesto, to create that compass that's going to drive you forward, to set that huge vision and work your way back, or through a life assessment, set an intention for the key areas of your life and how you're going to live them. Because when it comes to the journey, what we want to do is your goals should always be part of a journey. So it may be the case that you've got that big vision from 5 years from now, and your 2020 roadmap is going to form part of that. It's going to be year one, taking you closer to that big vision. It may be when you did your life assessment that 10 out of 10 in some areas is 5 years from now. 10 out of 10 in some areas might be 3 years from now. It might be 1 year from now. What's important is the goals that you set take you closer to 10 out of 10 in those areas, and then you're naturally going to reassess them, and there's always going to be room for improvement. Okay, my friends, let's create your 2020 roadmap. So, in order to do that, we have already done create your 5-year vision or conduct a life assessment. That is taken care of. Number 2, we're going to create your 1-year goals, those broader vision goals. Then we're going to operate, we're going to implement, we're going to execute based on 12-week sprints. In order to do that, we're going to identify your high impact activities, those things you have to achieve in order to reach your 12-week goals. We're going to schedule in your weekly accountability and identify your daily actions before tying it all together, and always testing and measuring what is working and what you need to improve on for the next sprint. So, as part of your roadmap to build the best 2020 that you possibly can, I want you to look at 1 year from now. So, you've got your 5-year vision or you've done your life assessment, but I want you to write out what your goals are for 1 year from now. So, in order for you to achieve your 5-year vision, or in order for you to get closer to 10 out of 10 in all areas, 1 year from now, what do these areas look like? What are your relationships like? How fantastic is your business? What sales are you achieving? What profits are you achieving? How has your industry profile grown? Finances. Talk about the money. Talk about what you're earning the minimum of 1 year from now. Talk about your spirituality and who you are as a person and how comfortable you are with the impact you're making in the world 1 year from now. And your health goals. How do you feel? How much energy do you have? How fit are you 1 year from now? Guys, head over to your worksheets and fill in your 1 year goals. Where will you be in 1 year? What will you have achieved in 1 year in order to take you closer to your 5-year vision? What will you have achieved in the key areas of your life in order to be living at or closer to 10 in that area? So remember, your 1 year goals are very much going to be dependent on how you set that life manifesto. And that is really, really important. However, I want to stress something that is absolutely essential for you to bear in mind and for you to get your head around in order to make 2020 the best that it can be for you. And my friends, that 1 year is a long fucking time. And while I want you to have an idea of what you want to achieve in 1 year, I don't want you to become heavily focused on 1 year goals. I don't want you to write out your New Year's resolutions for 2020. I don't want you to say in 2020, I'm going to achieve this, because it's very easy for you to say in February that you're going to achieve something by November, you know? And what that means is you set goals just for the year, and then it enables procrastination because you've got no fucking plan. You know, you've got no sense of urgency when it comes to achieving these goals. So if you said you want to increase your sales, you know, increase your income by 50% in 2020, well, unless you're a lot clearer about your timescales, you're just going to float. You know, you're just going to skim along for the first few months, and then all of a sudden you're going to say in November, shit, what the fuck happened? You know, and then you're going to start getting stressed out. Then you're going to start getting a bit pissed off with yourself, and then you're going to take action that you don't really, really want to take. And when people are setting annual goals, they set too many objectives. You know, not enough scheduled priorities that you know will get done. They're very, very vague, these annual goals. You know, and why only have 1 year end? What you're doing right now, the reason that you've invested in this training is because you're excited about the end of a year and the start of a new one and the start of a new decade. You're excited about this possibility that it gives. By operating in 12-week years or 12-week sprints, you treat every 12-week period like a year. You know, you get excited about the start of the year, you take massive action, and at the end of the year, you push yourself harder and harder at the end of those 12 weeks to achieve your goals. And this is what we're talking about. By breaking your goals down into 12-week sprints, you are more likely to achieve your bigger goals and build the life that you want. Because look at it like this. If you had a bad week out of 52, it doesn't really matter. Bad 2 weeks out of 52, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a bad week out of 12 weeks, you notice. And you buck up your ideas and you take the action that you need to take. So I want you to live the next 3 months as if everything is possible and commit to working your arse off to achieve your goals. Treat them like mini years where you set targets and the same motivation to achieve the end of year high as you do each November and December. Now, operating in 90-day goal setting or 12-week sprints or 12-week years, it's not a new concept. It's something that's becoming really, really popular right now. You know, we see it from the book, The 12-Week Year. Brendan Burchard promotes it in his High Achievers Journal. Boss Babes are promoting it in their 90-day planner. The world, the coaching world, is so aware and has been for some time that we achieve more, we execute more when we set 12-week goals, when we break it right down and work our arse off to achieve them. Because success in your business and your life lies in your execution and not in your goals. There are two types of lives, the ones we live and the ones we are capable of living. And what makes a difference is not the goals that you set, the vision that you have, it's whether or not you execute them. Let's look a bit more closely at what is a 12-week sprint. It is a way of running your life and business that helps you operate at your best each day by creating clarity and focus on what matters most. It's a sense of urgency to enable you to take action now. It's about consistently taking action on a daily basis to achieve your goals. As we said, 1 week out of 52 isn't a lot, but 1 week out of 12 is a long time and can dramatically impact your results. So, in your workbook, I want you to plan out your first sprint of 2020. I want you to set your key goals for the first 12 weeks. Now, these key goals are what you will have achieved by the end of March in order for you to be closer to your 1 year goals. And then after that, I want you to identify the high impact tasks. What big tasks do you need to accomplish to achieve your 12-week goals? And we're going to come on to some examples. And then in your worksheet, I want you to schedule weekly plans. So a weekly time when you will assess the week gone by, you look at what worked, you look at what didn't work, and you will create your intention and your plan for the week ahead. And by setting these weekly goals, it's so much easier for you to identify the tasks that you need to achieve on a daily basis. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a lot of fucking work, Orla. This sounds like I'm going to have to be aware of my goals on a consistent basis, constantly working towards them, constantly testing myself and measuring to see where I fit. Well, of course, you want to create a dream life. You want to achieve these big, massive fucking goals. And in order to do that, you're going to have to become laser focused on execution. So here's an example. Maybe you've set a goal over the next 12 weeks or the first 12 weeks in 2020 to achieve 10K plus in sales. Maybe you're going to launch a podcast or launch a new website. So in order to achieve those goals, you've got some high impact tasks that may look like create a suite of packages to achieve sales goals. So you create packages whereby you encourage your customers to spend more with you. You're also going to develop a marketing strategy to increase sales and promote those packages. You are going to develop a marketing strategy for existing clients to buy more. You're going to build a podcast and create a content plan and find speakers. And you're going to contact a website developer and determine where the website fits into your sales journey. So when you are setting your goals for the 12 weeks, I also want you to take down and say, if that's my goal, These are the key things I need to do in order to achieve that goal, and write it out in your workbook. And then I want you to sit down and take the time to schedule a weekly review for the same time each week. Now, I do it on a Sunday evening because that's when works best for me. So when are you going to sit down each week and see how much closer you're getting to your goal? And then at that weekly review, I want you to create a plan for each day of the following week, because you're going to review the week gone by and create a plan for the following week. And then on a daily basis, you're going to set your intention each day, and you do not stop until you have achieved your daily goals. Does that make sense? So your high impact activities, these are the results driven activities that will make a real difference to your business. Rather than a list of things to do, they will take you closer to your 12-week sprint success and closer to achieving the life of your dreams. And I know I sound cheesy, but I'm okay with that. They are the metrics that really matter and make a huge difference to your business once achieved. Now, obviously in this training, I'm very heavily focusing on your business when it comes to your 12-week sprints, but you can do this in all areas of your life. Then I want you to, in your worksheet, I want you to get your phone out and I want you to decide on the same time each week where you will review the previous week and plan your week ahead. You're going to write down the high impact activities you were working on that week. And then you are going to get out your diary and you're going to write down the daily activities you need to accomplish each day to achieve your amazing goals. Because, my friends, in order for you to achieve the life of your dreams, you seriously have to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. And we can only do that by taking action today. And I know for many of us who are parents, it can seem like a fucking Groundhog Day at times, and I get that. Believe me, I get that. But you have to be in charge of your day. You have to know what you're focusing on. You have to each week write down your daily tasks, and each day you do not stop until you have completed the task that you set out. And it means no faffing on social media or procrastinating, no looking at what your competitors are doing and getting bogged down and becoming overwhelmed, because overwhelmed is a fancy name for too much work. So some daily activities you might do is scheduling posts on social media, creating images, contacting customers, sending newsletters, increasing your engagement online, attending networking events. All of the daily actions you are engaging are to take you closer to achieving your high impact tasks and therefore your 12-week goals. Anything else needs to be demoted and ignored. So let's look at how you're going to tie this all together. Your success depends on what you do today. And as I've said, it might seem like Groundhog Day, but you have to master taking consistent action towards your goals and owning your day. And I want you to commit to treating every 12-week sprint like a new year. Get as excited about the start of your new year. Work so fucking hard. And at the end of the year, use that deadline as a push for you to work harder and harder and harder. And smash your goals every year. And a quick reminder, this is fucking hard. This is hard. And it's going to go a little something like this. So what's going to happen is this is the emotional cycle of change. You are going to fill out your life manifesto. You're going to create your 1-year goals and you're going to create your first 12-week sprint of 2020. And you're going to become excited and you're going to think, oh, it's not that hard after all. And then once you leave that stage of uninformed optimism, the sheer gravitas of the situation is going to enter your mind. And the fact that there's so much work for you to do, the fact that not only do you have to have weekly assessments with yourself and hold yourself accountable, but you've got to take action every day. And sooner or later, you're going to be tempted to give up when you enter that valley of despair. And this is when you get a shiny object syndrome. This is when you look at another idea to grow your business. Excuse me. This is when you look at another way of pushing your business forward. And this is where you give up and you start again. And entrepreneurs are famous for doing this. They start something new, get shiny object syndrome, realize how hard work it is, get to the valley of despair, and they give up. And the problem for so many businesses and business owners is that they lived their entire lives alternating from this stage one of the emotional cycle of change where you're so optimistic to throwing in the towel. And it becomes a vicious cycle that impacts your mental health, that impacts your confidence, and it means you don't achieve the business that you deserve. So, my friends, what I want you to do is I want you to protect yourself. I want you to identify when you are finding this a bit much and say, okay, who can I phone in that situation? Who can I contact? How can I reconnect with my goals? How can I, protect my mindset? Maybe you want to listen to something on YouTube. Maybe you want to invest in a coach. Maybe you want to get some books on Audible. You're going to do something. You're going to get an accountability partner. You're going to give you something so that you move past this painful stage of the valley of despair and you come up to informed optimism, where you're saying, actually, at first these weekly check-ins and these weekly assessments were hard, but now I quite enjoy my time to myself every week to look at how close I'm getting to my goals and what I'm achieving. And then, before you know it, you will be at the end of your 12-week sprint and you will have achieved your goals. And if you only achieve 85% or do 85% of what you said you'll do, you're going to be on track to smash your goals. It's going to happen. You are going to become overwhelmed. Don't get stressed. Here's what to do. Plan in advance. Plan out your key dates in advance. So right now, by looking at your worksheet, plan out your weekly assessments in advance. Put it into your diary. Message your other half, message your business partners and say that is sacred time. It is a non-negotiable. Do not schedule an appointment. Do not arrange for me to go anywhere. That time is yours. When you've got more energy, when you've got more time available, schedule your social media posts. Become a planner and use that to implement. And call in the troops. If you know that you're having a bad day, get an accountability buddy or a coach who will be open and honest with you and ensure you stay true to what you have to do. And this is so essential because your success in business is wholly and exclusively down to your results. You are a results-driven business and you are judged by your results and not by your activities. Did you achieve your goal? What worked? What didn't? And what will you do different next time? These are the questions that you ask yourself at the end of every sprint as you test and measure. So at the end of every 12 weeks, you're going to push to end the year on a high, but you're going to have a deeper assessment, a deeper look at what you did over the past 12 weeks, what worked, what didn't, what you need to do different next time, and also to reward yourself. Also to give yourself a pat on the back and say, well done. It was fucking hard, but you did it. It wasn't ideal, but you did it, and you are an absolute legend. So, in conclusion, my friend, it is essential that you think big when goal setting and creating your life manifesto. SMART goals can be used for implementation. They can come into play when you are setting your high priority activities that you're going to look at every 12 weeks, but do not use your SMART goals when you are setting your big life manifesto. 12-week sprints are the way forward. Trust me on that. Treat every sprint like a year. In your mental and your psyche, treat it like a year. Hold weekly accountability meetings with yourself and have a clear daily intention of what you want to achieve, and do not stop every day until you achieve them. Thank you so much for listening and engaging and taking part and committing to making your 2020 the best that it can possibly be. I'm Orla, coach, business strategist, and Starbucks lover, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.